Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to our channel, Apostolic Islam, representing the faith of the prophets of the God of Abraham, peace be upon them. This video is a reminder about the myth of the so-called liberated woman, which the Muslim sisters and those amongst the non-Muslims who may be watching this should be aware of. The modern concept of liberation has reduced the status of women to that of a trash bin. If you've been to any great city of Western civilization, you would have noticed that there are areas where people go just for the purpose of finding sexual pleasure. Bars, pubs, and eateries are lined up, and hordes of women or even teenage girls come there to get drunk, do drugs, and then get picked up by guys for intercourse. Some people get started on the roads and in taxis there. The next morning, the liberated female wakes up and gets on with her life. Some of them do expect the guy to stay in touch after he made her feel loved, even for a brief amount of time, but most of them have learned to not expect any attachment. When you think of such women, the only image that comes to the mind is that of a trash bin that says, "Use me." Think about it. This is what they're basically doing. In order to achieve some gratification and self-worth, they have to get themselves knocked out of their senses, and then get used by a guy who usually doesn't give care a few hours later. This is why abortion is a burning topic in Western countries, as it rescues women from the consequence of their actions. This is why feminists classify abortion as healthcare. In many Islamic countries, too, when liberals march chanting the slogan of liberty or freedom, this is what they're actually looking to achieve. That women should be allowed to do whatever they want with their bodies, without any regard for their long-term physical, mental, and spiritual health, and without any regard for its wider social impact. When we see videos of many Muslim girls, including the ones wearing a hijab, and guys proposing to each other in universities, we are actually witnessing the degradation of womanhood. The status of the woman becomes like that of a cigarette or a tissue paper, like how people place a cigarette between their lips as long as it burns, then throw it on the ground and crush it, like how a tissue is used to wipe the face and then crumpled and tossed away. The image, reputation, and honor of such a woman, especially if she's a hijabi, is ruined severely. Say, if this current proposal and haram love affair doesn't work out, then what will become of her? The man often in this situation can get off easy. He can move on without much hassle if his profile is right. But she can't. Any man with self-respect wouldn't accept her, and maybe rightly so. Have you seen any sane person pick up a worn cigarette and put it in his mouth? Have you seen any normal individual pick out a used tissue from the trash and use it? The last half a century has, especially the last couple of decades, done a lot, seriously a lot, of damage to the Western woman. The sparkling image of her happiness and liberty presented to us is an elaborate scheme. You can check the statistics, data, and studies related to her state of life. You'll be surprised. Something worse has been planned to be done with the Muslim women, but their religion and conservative culture stands in the way. So sanctions are given to fund educational circles, activist groups, social organizations, and community events. These are there to indoctrinate a girl with a warped sense of self-worth, with a shallow understanding of individual dignity. She is taught that it's okay to do whatever pleases her, and it's okay to rebel if it displeases others, even Allah Azza wa Jal, our Creator. Many young Muslim girls float with the gust of the unsinkable Titanic into the sea of the world as time passes, and one day, some reality of an iceberg will hit them. After that, it will be the usual phase of blaming the society, patriarchy, family, religion, and the system. Then the silent acceptance of what's become will follow with the cycle of use me for as long as she is usable, after which it will get much darker with unbearable suffering and loneliness, till one final day it's her miserable end. From such satanic traps, we seek Allah's refuge and guidance. Never let temporary pleasures ruin your eternal happiness. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.